In today's world, stress feels like an unavoidable part of daily life, whether it's the pressure from work, family responsibilities, financial concerns, or even the flood of information we face daily. Many of us live in a constant state of stress. But why does stress seem to control our lives? And more importantly, how can we stop it from taking over? The Stoic philosophy offers a powerful perspective on managing stress. The ancient Stoics believed that the external events of life don't cause our suffering. Rather, our reactions and judgments about those events do. This mindset shift allows us to take control of our emotions and our mental state, even when faced with the most stressful situations. The Stoics remind us that while we can't control everything that happens, we do have control over how we respond to it. In this video, we'll explore why you're always stressed and, more importantly, how you can fix it. By incorporating Stoic principles into your daily life, you'll learn to manage stress more effectively and find peace even in the midst of chaos. Along the way, we'll look at real-life examples of how famous individuals and well-known films have dealt with the burden of stress and how they overcame it through resilience and wisdom. Let's begin by understanding the root cause of stress and how it manifests in our daily lives. The root of stress. Perception and control stress is often rooted in our perception of events rather than the events themselves. In fact, two people can experience the same situation but react in completely different ways. Why is that? The key lies in how each person interprets the event. If you view a situation as threatening or beyond your control, you're more likely to experience stress. However, if you see it as a challenge or something you can handle, the stress response can be minimized. This idea aligns perfectly with the teachings of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means that stress isn't caused by the situation itself, it's caused by your reaction to it. The good news is, while we can't always control the circumstances, we can control our response. Modern stress often stems from feeling overwhelmed by things we can't control, whether it's a demanding job, societal pressures, or unexpected life events. However, Stoicism teaches us to focus only on what we can control and to let go of everything else. This simple shift in perspective is the first step in reducing stress. The illusion of control and its impact. One of the primary reasons for constant stress is the illusion of control. We often feel that if we try hard enough, we can control every aspect of our lives, our careers, relationships, finances, and even the actions of others. When things don't go according to plan, this illusion shatters and we feel helpless, frustrated, and anxious. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, reminds us in his Meditations that much of life is beyond our control. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In other words, trying to control the uncontrollable leads to frustration and stress, but accepting what you can't control brings peace. A practical example can be seen in the corporate world, where the desire to control outcomes often leads to burnout. Take Elon Musk, for example. Known for his relentless work ethic, Musk has publicly spoken about the stress and pressure that comes with trying to control the outcome of massive ventures like Tesla and SpaceX. At one point, his over-involvement and obsession with every detail contributed to extreme stress and fatigue. It was only when Musk began to delegate more and relinquish control over smaller tasks that he found some relief. The Stoic solution to this issue is simple. Focus on what you can influence and let go of what you can't. By accepting that some things are beyond your control, you'll free yourself from the burden of trying to control everything. This acceptance is liberating and can drastically reduce stress. the power of present moment awareness. Another major cause of stress is worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. Whether you're anxious about an upcoming deadline or regretting a decision from years ago, living outside of the present moment can heighten feelings of stress and anxiety. The Stoics emphasize the importance of living in the present. Seneca once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." When we focus too much on what might happen or what has already happened, we rob ourselves of the ability to enjoy the present moment, which is the only moment we truly have control over. A great example of this principle in action is the movie The Pursuit of Happiness, starring Will Smith. The film follows Chris Gardner, a man struggling with homelessness while trying to provide for his young son. Despite facing overwhelming odds and an uncertain future, Gardner consistently focuses on what he can do in the present. Instead of wasting time worrying about what he can't control, he takes immediate action, whether it's showing up for an interview, finding a place to sleep for the night, or comforting his son. By staying grounded in the present, Gardner eventually transforms his life. This story is a reminder that even in the most difficult situations, focusing on the present moment and taking action where you can leads to better outcomes. Managing expectations, the source of much stress. Unrealistic expectations, whether placed on ourselves or others, are another significant cause of stress. We often expect things to go a certain way, and when they don't, we experience disappointment, frustration, and stress. Whether it's expecting perfection from yourself or hoping that others will act in a way that aligns with your desires, unmet expectations can lead to a downward spiral of anxiety. In Stoicism, managing expectations is crucial for reducing stress. Epictetus advises us to keep your expectations modest, and you will never be disappointed. This doesn't mean you shouldn't aim high or set goals, but rather that you should understand that life is unpredictable, and things often won't go as planned. Take the example of Serena Williams, one of the greatest athletes of all time. Early in her career, Serena set extremely high expectations for herself, which often led to stress and anxiety, especially when things didn't go according to plan. However, over time, she learned to adapt her mindset. Instead of stressing over every mistake or loss, she began focusing on continuous improvement and accepting that not every match would go her way. By adjusting her expectations, Serena was able to stay mentally strong, even in the face of setbacks, and ultimately, she achieved extraordinary success. The lesson here is that by managing your expectations, you can significantly reduce the stress that comes from things not going as planned. Accept that life is full of surprises and that things will often deviate from your expectations. When you let go of rigid expectations, you'll find that stress decreases and you become more adaptable. Emotional reactivity, how we let stress control us. One of the greatest sources of stress is emotional reactivity. When things don't go our way, or when we face unexpected challenges, our immediate emotional reactions can create even more stress. Whether it's anger, frustration, or anxiety, these emotions often cloud our judgment and make the situation feel worse than it actually is. The Stoics placed great emphasis on controlling one's emotions. Seneca said, "He who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." In other words, by reacting emotionally to a stressful situation, we often make it worse than it needs to be. When we allow stress to dictate our emotional state, we lose our ability to think clearly and act rationally. Instead of focusing on the problem at hand, we become overwhelmed by our emotions. Stoicism teaches us to observe our emotions without letting them control us. By cultivating emotional resilience, we can respond to stressful situations with calm and clarity. Consider the example of Barack Obama during his presidency. Obama was often praised for his ability to remain calm under pressure, even in the most stressful situations. Whether it was dealing with global crises or domestic challenges, Obama's ability to keep his emotions in check allowed him to make rational, thoughtful decisions. This emotional control, a key principle of Stoicism, is something we can all strive to develop in our own lives to reduce stress. Practical Stoic techniques for reducing stress. Now that we've explored some of the major causes of stress, let's look at practical Stoic techniques that can help you manage and reduce stress in your daily life. One powerful Stoic practice is negative visualization. This involves imagining worst-case scenarios in order to mentally prepare for them. While this may sound counterintuitive, negative visualization helps you accept that things won't always go perfectly, and it allows you to plan for challenges. By mentally preparing for the worst, you'll be less stressed when things don't go as expected because you've already considered the possibility. Another effective Stoic technique is the dichotomy of control. This concept, championed by Epictetus, encourages us to focus only on what we can control and to let go of everything else. When faced with a stressful situation, ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, then there's no point in stressing over it. Instead, focus on what you can control: your attitude, your actions, and your response. Finally, mindfulness is a practice that aligns with Stoic principles. By staying present and fully engaged in the moment, you'll be less likely to stress about what's already happened or what might happen in the future. Mindfulness helps you focus on what's in front of you, which reduces unnecessary anxiety and stress. Stress is a natural part of life, but it doesn't have to control you. By applying Stoic principles like focusing on what you can control, managing your expectations, and cultivating emotional resilience, you can significantly reduce the amount of stress you experience. Remember, stress doesn't come from the external world. It comes from how you react to it. By changing your perspective and practicing Stoic techniques, you'll find that stress has less power over your life. Instead of being overwhelmed by daily challenges, you'll develop the resilience to face them with calm and clarity. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more insights on Stoicism, stress management, and personal growth.